a fast walk, Dave, but like your song. All right, good evening. It is 6:36. Welcome to the Community Development Advisory Committee. Our agenda for today, Wednesday, January 15th, is to hear from several of our stakeholders. But first, I want to start off with attendance, and let's start over here with John.
John Brunza, mayoral appointee.
Mary Ann Callahan, mayoral appointee.
Michelle O'Loughlin, member at large.
Marilyn Austin, 6th District.
Jordan Trice, and I represent the 5th District.
And I'm Justin McGregor, your chair representing the 7th District on the CDAC. All right. I hear her at the door. We do have another member joining us. Did I disappear? Get closer. All right, we do have our member. She did make her way in. I'd like to give the sense.
Thank you. Deborah Hogan, mayoral appointee.
Thank you, Deborah. All right, so I want to remind our stakeholders when you're presenting that there is a 5-minute presentation limit and a 5-minute question and answer limit. You'll be notified when there is 1 minute left in your time. Just look at Steven. He'll give you the little wave of a paper or something. So let's start with our first agency, Mothers and Babies Perinatal Network. I have Alicia. Is that you? All right, Alicia. Just introduce yourself and then begin.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Alicia Beekman. I am the Executive Director at Mothers and Babies Perinatal Network. Ready to go?
Whenever you want.
Oh, can you still hear? There we go. All right. So I'm here to present on our PAL Family Resource Center and Opportunity Center. So protective factors are qualities or conditions within individuals, families, and communities that foster the health and well-being of children and families. When communities lack opportunities for families, it can jeopardize parents' ability to create safe and healthy environments for their children. Poverty can create stress and conflict within families, which can lead to negative outcomes for children. Family well-being involves many elements such as financial stability, access to healthy food, a stable home environment, good physical and mental health, safe housing, employment opportunities, and reliable transportation. For low-income families, the absence of one or more of these factors can severely undermine their well-being, creating a cycle of poverty and instability. By focusing on protective factors, we can assist parents in accessing resources and support that builds on their strengths while also addressing areas where they need help, risk of child abuse and neglect. The PAL Family Resource and Opportunity Center, a program of mothers and babies, is dedicated to promoting healthy parent-child relationships and building strong protective factors within families. The newly opened PAL Center on the north side of Binghamton, located off of Robinson Street, operates 5 days a week, including some evening hours. At PAL, compassionate and qualified staff offer parent education, social support, mentoring, and the opportunity to engage in recreational and social activities. Participants can take part in parenting classes and activities at both the Binghamton and the Johnson City PAL Center. PAL Center staff offer strength-based approach, recognizing that everyone has the potential to overcome challenges and recover from adversity. Community agencies are also encouraged to utilize the PAL Center for showcasing their services through presentations, bringing their clients to the center, and sharing our information with families they serve. Many of the parents and children who use PAL services face multiple stressors. Children attending the PAL Center are often in foster care and have experienced the trauma of being removed from their parents' care. Many parents have a history of trauma, mental health challenges, substance abuse, domestic violence, or incarceration. The PAL Center provides a safe, welcoming, and non-judgmental environment, particularly for families participating in supervised visitation. The support and services offered at PAL have helped many parents regain custody of their children. Our services also include parenting classes, one-on-one mentoring, social activities, and educational programs that focus on family goals and life skills. In addition to these programs, the centers offer free resources such as children's clothing closet stocked with clothes, diapers, and hygiene products, a large play area filled with toys, books, and activities, and regular scheduled community dinners. Families experiencing isolation can participate in daily activities at the PAL Center 5 days a week. The center is a hub for parents seeking guidance, referral, and resources. For 27 years, the PAL Center has been a vital resource for our high-need families in Binghamton, providing essential services to the community. With an overarching grant from the Office of Children and Family Services, we are able to provide critical needs to families in now 3 centers located in Binghamton, Johnson City, and Whitney Point. Critical needs include things such as paying back rent, offering rental assistance, new appliances, and anything else to help families to be successful. For our City of Binghamton clients, a combination of this funding helps them to access a local center with the benefits provided by all 3. To maintain our current level of service and keep growing our programs, continued funding is essential, and we respectfully request $25,000 from the Community Development Block Grant to serve the estimated 350 City of Binghamton residents.
All right, do we have any questions?
I have one question. Oh, go ahead,
Ooh.
Michelle.
Michelle?
When you say 350 residents, so how many, is it 350 families?
350 families, it's usually a parent or a caregiver with their child. So we do count the children as well because everybody's benefiting from the
Right,
use of the center. Mhm.
okay,
And
thank
we
you.
do document all that data. We have the children, the household, so we have data in a lot of different variations.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Was it 350 or 375? Because I wrote 375.
350.
350.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
We'll probably exceed that, but we wrote 350.
All right.
I have a
Michelle?
simple question.
Sure.
Or, sorry,
Um,
I called you Michelle by accident.
that's okay, as long as you, that's close enough.
Don't call her late for dinner.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I have a bugaboo about initials. What does PAL stand for?
Parents as leaders.
Thank you.
So that was established years and years ago, and I kind of mention it as the PAL Family Resource Center and the Opportunity Center. So this is a hybrid of funding that runs these centers. So we have a state grant Family Opportunity Center.
Right.
They're all looking to do the same thing.
Because I looked at your narrative and
Yes.
it wasn't spelled out in the narrative.
I
and it's a
apologize.
bugaboo with me. So,
Okay.
no, that's
Sorry.
great. Now that we know.
Yes,
now that we know.
parents as
Thank you very
leaders.
much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, Alicia, thank you, unless you have anything else to add.
No, I don't. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
You're welcome. All right, next up, NOMA Community Center, Bryce Reynolds. Come on down, you're the next presenter.
In order to do PowerPoints because of security issues, you would have had to emailed it so I can make sure it goes to the network fine. I can't put like a jump drive on a. Wait, did you already give it to me? I thought you already presented. That's why I was curious about the. Okay, I do apologize. I thought that was for a previous presentation. I will mail it to all the Cdac members though, so that they have it. I do apologize. I thought that was for a previous meeting. The green light?
Now I have a green light.
There you go.
Okay. So many things are afoot down at the NOMA Community Center. If you're not familiar with what we do and where we are, we've kind of adopted a sort of a new, not yet a mission statement, but it's going to be, I think, which is we bring together resources to help people reach their fullest potential. Kind of lofty, but that's where we're going with this. Essentially, the North of Main neighborhood in the city of Binghamton is Census Tract 13, which is it's actually the most disadvantaged census tract in Broome County. I got some statistics. Well, first off, it's kind of sandwiched by the railroad tracks that separates the first ward from the west side of Binghamton, Front Street, Main Street, and Glenwood Ave. So if you're familiar with that area, the median household income for for Census Tract 13 is $32,031 annually. For the city of Binghamton, in comparison, is $42,031. Broome County across the board is 58,317. So we're actually less than half of the median household income for the county. Population below the poverty line is 68.4% versus 31.7% for the city of Binghamton and 19.2% for Broome County. The childhood poverty rate, and this is kind of staggering, for the north of Maine area is 87.3% versus 40.9% for the city of Binghamton and 25.1% for Broome County. And the unemployment rate is 19.3% for NOMA, 10.1% for the city of Binghamton and 6.9% for Broome County. So you can kind of see how disadvantaged, I guess we'll say, the area is. So some of the programs that we do are weekly. We have a clothing and hygiene closet, where we provide free clothing and hygiene items for people in the neighborhood to just walk in and take whatever they need. We also do Teacher Tuesdays, which is a program put on by teachers at Horace Mann Elementary School. It's an after-school enrichment program where they do educational activities and, bring snacks and send kids home with food for after, because some of the kids in the neighborhood do not have reliable food to go home to. We also have an aspiring artist program, which is youth engagement. We actually had some of the proceeds or the products of that workshop series in a gallery down at the Broome County Arts Council, which was really pretty cool. That's where kids they come in on a Saturday morning, they get breakfast, and our coordinator, our programming director, kind of puts on an art activity, and right now they are making Valentine's Day cards for their parents and caregivers. We also do our community meals every Saturday after that, where on average, we serve about, I'll say about 50 to 60 people from the community. All of these services are free. Everything we do is free. We do not charge for anything. We have a lot of volunteers come in and cook meals from scratch for a large number of people. We have a lot of folks who are members of the unhoused population who show up to that as well. A lot of our stuff. And following the community meal, Binghamton Food Rescue, which is our fiscal sponsoree, they go around to grocery stores, the farmers market, and various other places, and they essentially take not expiring, but I guess old enough baked goods that the grocery stores are, they want to get off their shelves and everything for the more fresher stuff. And they go to the farmer's market, grab up fresh produce, and just distribute it to people, again, at no cost. We also have annual events. We do back to school haircuts before the start of the school year for kids. And we have Santa's Workshop, which is our big one, where essentially we gather donations from people in the community for gifts for adults, so that the kids can come in and pick out gifts they essentially shop for their caregivers, the adults in their lives, and get those gifts wrapped. And basically they take them home to their caregivers and their adults and whatnot. And the year before last, we had 120 people. The last year we had 270 people show up. And this year we had 194 because we tried to keep it on the down low a little bit because that 270 people, quite a bit. We're located in the First Congregational Church, and they have a fellowship hall downstairs that accommodates 120 people, and the 270 over the course of 2 hours was just way too much. But we still got 194 this year, despite the fact that we didn't really advertise, which was pretty wild. And we're now going into kind of a phase 2 with that description that I mentioned earlier, bringing together resources to help people reach their full potential. We just finished up what was called a music and tech fellowship, where people came in, they got paid stipends, and they took a class. It was a workshop where they learned to use this platform called EarSketch. And what that is you're making music by using the Python and JavaScript programming languages. And from there, we're going to be getting into massive open online courses that it's kind of a segue from there to learning how to use Python and JavaScript and all of that for creating mobile apps and mobile games and everything. And yeah, you don't know, this we might end up with the next Facebook or something coming out. Again, these are all free. Had stipends for people who attended those workshops. We managed to get a grant from the United Way to do that. And it was pretty wild, but people are really engaged from that. And we've got a lot of them who want to continue on. And still under construction is what I'm calling, I like to be hyperbolic, Billionaire Academy, which the whole thing is about learning, investing, and the stock market and all of that kind of stuff, which is actually how I learned financial literacy. I actually have a MS in finance from Syracuse University, and I never finished in 9th grade. So that's how I learned financial literacy, is through that, not through other things where you were like, it's basically like balancing a checkbook, because all that information goes back towards, well, at least the way the program is being designed, to applying it to everyday life.
Right.
So essentially we're asking for probably a fair amount of money. I forget what the exact number is, around 80 some odd $1,000. But that it's for essentially a lot of this program supplies, and just to essentially keep going and to keep growing. And we do have a lot of volunteers. Like currently, I think the amount we've raised this year was about $40,000 or $50,000. So we get a lot of this stuff done by volunteers. We only have two. Well, no, actually, one of our employees just left for greener pastures, but we have one person that is on the payroll and another who works through Binghamton Food Rescue to coordinate all of that. But it takes, I would say, the manpower involved in this. Over the course of a week, we'll have like, I don't know, probably about 50 people who volunteer, and it's pretty wild. But yeah, but the whole idea, the whole underlying thing is that people have potential, and this is we run on empowerment and care, and we're all just kind of coming together and trying to get folks up out of that poverty level, and especially the families with that childhood poverty rate. It's very rough.
All right. Do we have any questions for Bryce? Marianne?
I have a question.
Yes.
What other funding sources have you been looking for? Because you are asking for a very large amount. That's it's more than half of your budget
Yes.
from us. So what are the other options that you've been thinking about?
Well, we regularly apply to the United Way. We are funded through next year by the Conrad and Virginia Clee Foundation, the Binghamton, was it the Research Foundation or something? We got was it a donation from them? I think it was from the Research Foundation, but it was through a course in the MPA program over there. The Community Foundation is very, very helpful.
The Research Foundation is not listed in your, it's not listed here.
Oh, that's because for that budget, that's for starting in September of
2025.
2025.
So you got the research from 2024.
Yes, that was 2024. And they just started a new thing that we just got notified of today. And we also just started up our own fundraising platform, which we're trying to do peer-to-peer fundraising. We actually have a thing, was it a tablet plus a card reader and everything like that. Which we leave out when we have events for people to actually make donations like one time. But the donation platform, it's called Donor Box. It's very robust.
Is that part of your miscellaneous? Is that listed under the
Yes,
miscellaneous?
That is the miscellaneous.
So that figure is from 2024 that you have listed here?
That was actually not in place until the fall, I think, of 2024.
So
because
that figure is a guesstimation?
it's a guesstimation, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Deborah.
Quick question. I'm noticing with this being a church organization, the rent has been raised from 96 to what I would assume 100 to 12,000 a year. Could you explain why that increase has been done?
Yeah, well, we're not a part of the church. We're just a tenant there.
I understand that.
Okay. They raised the rent $100 a month in 2024, and they just raised it another $50 a month in 2025 for 2025. And they essentially are just trying to keep afloat, I guess. There wasn't really a justification for it given at the time, although 3 of my other board members are attending a meeting with the church this evening.
That's where I was asking, because if I remember, you've been here before and you are on the board of your church. So that's why I was just curious if you had knowledge, being on both sides, being part of the face of the organization, but also on the board of trustees for your church.
Oh, no, I'm not affiliated with the church in
You're
any
not?
capacity.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
couldn't answer that question.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none. Thank you, Bryce.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next up to the chair is the Cdac project. Phil Nelson.
Good evening, everyone. So I sent out a flyer, kind of a one-pager. So I'm a little different than most organizations. Let's just look at the 2 numbers. Broome County leads New York State as the #2 in poverty. All right. As far as upstate counties, Broome County is #1. So they asked for a 5-minute presentation. I think let's take 2 minutes just to talk about that. What we do is we're trying to be part of the solution to solve this problem. This is a continuing, ongoing problem that has gotten worse after the pandemic, and Broome County, Binghamton has to do something. Again, I'm singling myself out of it when I say they have to do something. So we're just trying to be part of the solution. One of the core things that we do is we provide one-on-one financial counseling and case management. So I overheard you were talking about student loans. I overheard the conversation. What happens with student loans is the interest is compounded like a loan. But here's the deal. How do you know that? They give you a contract, it's a bunch of pages. Broome County's less than what, 50%, I have it on there, is college educated. So now we have the reading problem. That's why this stuff doesn't operate in a vacuum. How do you figure that out? You could go to your local bank, but then they can't help with student loans. That's not what they do. Their job is to get depositors. That's their job. So they can help you with budgeting and help you with a little bit of savings, but you got something with a credit report. Who do you go to? Who do you go to? So that's the type of reality that I try to get people to think about when they're thinking about whether to support a financial empowerment program. It's ask yourself, if you didn't have to wing it, how much better would you be, your family would be, your cousin would be, your neighbor would be, if you were given these resources at 16, 17, 18, 21, 22, or like the client I saw last week who's 67, great, she was at IBM, had a great pension. Because I can't go into numbers because everything's confidential, but because she didn't file up in earnest in 2 years, she lost 6 figures. Again, who was she going to? So that's when I talk to people, I say, this is what you really need to think about. Not only the Cdac project, but how are we developing programs and projects that are going to help alleviate and break down this cycle of poverty that is only getting worse. We are number 2 outside of the Bronx. That is, to me, is atrocious. Number 2, not number 10, not number 20, number 2. So if you don't put an all hands on deck approach to this, we're going to be back here in 10 years. I'm going to be sitting here going, hey, can I get some money? I guess, but that's not the objective. The objective is, how do we solve this problem and try to lower it in the next 5 years? So, I don't do a lot of bells and whistles. This is the second time on the panel. I tell people, here's the facts, here's the solution, and we're trying to be part of the solution. So again, the core thing we do is financial counseling and coaching. So it's the one-on-ones, the hand-holding, the calling 20 times on that particular subject because you don't understand what APR interest means, or you got this letter for a credit card, should you get it, should you not get it, or you're trying to figure out how to budget, your day-to-day expenses with inflation. You're trying to figure it out. So that's really what we put together, and that's what the use of funding is for. To hire additional counselors, we have curriculum development, but that's really the core. So I have 1 minute. That's really it in a nutshell. I guess I'm not a long-winded person. This is a problem that's only getting worse in Binghamton. And then you have the emotional aspects attached to it and the stress that's attached to it. And so you have to figure out, how are we going to try to alleviate this and what programs we're going to put in place to do this. That's why I partner with a lot of organizations. NOMA is one, Bryce is one. We're partnering together to do a lot of, anti-poverty initiatives. But that's really what it's all about.
Any questions? John.
How are you?
Yeah, good seeing you again.
Good to see you. So part of running a business is knowing the landscape, right? Who else is out there? Who else is operating in this space, helping our community members with financial literacy?
Well, Visions does financial wellness. I'm careful not to talk about banks because banks have egos, but Visions is one that does financial wellness, but nobody's doing one-on-one financial counseling, case management. So what I mean by that is, you go to a bank, you say, hey, I might need some help on a budget. And they'll sit with you and they'll say budget. But then you say, oh, I'm on SNAP. They have no idea how to help budget on SNAP. How do you not know the budget on SNAP? SNAP is income, which is a budget, whether it's 200, 400 a month. You should still be able to adhere to that. But remember, banks are under a lot of constraints because there's only so much things they can talk about due to, their business practices. But outside of banks, we're the only game in town. And financial counseling, case management, coaching, we're the only game in town. There's Seed, there's a few organizations, but I'm talking core coaching. I have clients that call me over a week, 10 times. They just have a question. Something came up. I'd rather them call me 10 times than to wing it. The whole goal is we need people to stop winging it. That's what's happening. Everybody's winging it. And by the time they're 40, they're like, oh, I have nothing retirement. I need 4K. I can't buy a house. I want to move out of here. And then now their whole feeling of progressive forward motion in their life is gone. So you got to intertwine both of that.
If I can, just to follow up on that with another question.
Yep.
Can we go through some of the budget narrative here? Curriculum development, $9,000.
Yep.
What does that entail?
Oh, we developed curtail curriculum for each individual target audience. So like I did one for elders, we do one for youth, and we do it for adults. And it'll be a variety of topics, budgeting, savings, credit. It's a curriculum designed for that particular audience. But again, it's based on what's going on now. So 2 years ago, we were doing curriculum based on the pandemic. Now we're doing on inflation, you know?
Why the $9,000? Who's that going to?
Oh, that goes to somebody who does the curriculum. I write it with a designer. There's actually a teacher we work with, actually an ex-banker we work with who helped design this curriculum.
Okay, so you pay for that.
Oh, yeah, we pay for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an outside
Okay.
person we pay for.
And can you touch upon the gift cards?
Yeah, we just think for young people and people under 30, it's just always a nice incentive just to give them gift cards to come to one of the programs. And then they find out that it's very informative. And then they tell their friends, they tell their other friends. It's not for all participants, but it's for some. And we found that to be an effective model that works to get people who are a little trepidation to say, hey, you know, let me take this course on, you know, whatever, this Thursday night, instead of, you know, sitting on their computer screen on social media. So we found that to be effective.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you differentiate between your agency budget and the program budget? Because there seems to be a $65,000 plus discrepancy there, and it's not explained in the funding outline.
right.
Can you?
Yeah,
enlighten us?
the agency budget is our overall, and the program is for this particular project.
Where did the funds come from for your agency budget?
We're funded by a variety of institutions, Community Foundation, United Way, Key Bank, Clee Foundation. Those are our core funders currently.
Because we're getting it from every other agency.
Sure.
Okay. Would it be possible for you to give us a breakdown of that? Because we do get that from other agencies and it gives us a larger picture. We like to be very good at funding and making good financial decisions too. So thank you. We'd appreciate that.
Oh,
If
not a
you
problem.
can send it to Steve and Steve will send it to us.
Yeah, I'll send you the list of
Awesome.
funders.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. I can give you for 2024.
Okay, yeah, that'd be fine. It just gives us a better idea. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Any other Deborah?
Hi there. Welcome again. Question for you. With upcoming classes, do people contact you for that? Do you advertise, or would you rather meet with them one-on-one? And if they're in the city of Binghamton, does that qualify them and have to be able to go to your classes? I'm sure it's open to everybody, but funding for tracking purposes, city of Binghamton residents.
Yeah, so for funding purposes, it is the city of Binghamton, it's Broome County. And if it's for this, it'll be the city of Binghamton. And all classes are free. Typically, clients meet me by referrals from different partner agencies or from an actual client that has success and will refer this to them. So that's usually core. And then on the marketing front, we do a lot of social media marketing. We want to do a little bit more, develop a little bit more marketing strategy. So that's why we had a larger budget here, because the whole concept is financial literacy as a public good. That's why I put it there. So like, just as a natural resource, we want it to be, people wake up in the morning and they say, okay, I have an issue. We don't want them to be stuck in their room with the walls closing on them. We want them to be able to say, hey, I could reach out to the Cdac project and they could help me from the beginning to the end on on my financial situation. So that is the goal. So that's why we ask for more marketing this quarter.
The follow-up, I believe you're down here at the Entrepreneurial Center.
Yeah,
Do you
coffee.
meet with clients one-on-one
I
there?
meet clients there as well.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Yep.
Mary Ann?
Going back to my bugaboo, is STAC an acronym for something?
Yes, savings, tackling debt, accumulating wealth, college and credit awareness, and key tips and best practices.
You might want to spell that out in your narratives. It's very nice.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So we do, and our slogan is stack your bread, stack your knowledge.
It's very good. Thank you.
And in as the review, there's there's a couple, you see the picture. That one gentleman, we staved off bankruptcy for him. And then the young lady at the top, she did what we call the stack understanding spending. So for 30 days, what a client does, they track everything they spent. I don't care if it's 50 cents parking on Washington Street. And then we go back and we go through it, and then they find out where they're actually spending the money. Some people it's Dollar Tree, some people it's eating out, some people it's Starbucks. Mine was going to the laundromat to get my shirts pressed, but it's variety. But what happens is people get to look at what's really going on. There's not a lot of mystery. You got to give people best practices. We got to give them the information. The information is not there. You're going to be circling back. So a lot of our clients have found it to be tremendously helpful because they say, oh, I had no idea I was spending this much on laundry detergent. They had no idea. And I said, well, Walmart has it on sale. And then they really change their habits. And then they find they have extra savings for their kids, for their college, and their retirement. So, that's one of the processes that we do. As I said, we go knee deep. It's not, hey, you should open up a bank account. It's really changing the thought processes and the money management thinking for your financial decisions. And once you change that, that really changes the generation and abroad. So that's the pictures that was in the packet.
All right, any further questions? Seeing none. Thank you very much for your
Thank you again,
presentation.
committee. I really appreciate it. Thank
No
you again.
problem. Thank you. All right, next up, Triple Cities Makerspace. Stephen, come on up. ST.
Before you start the clock, is that offered to put presentations in front of everybody? If I send it
If
to
you
you?
send me a digital copy, I can forward it on.
Okay. Good evening. So some of you look familiar. I've done this once before. My name is Stephen Mushak. I am the Executive Director of Triple Cities Makerspace. And for those of you unfamiliar with our organization, Triple Cities Makerspace is a 501c3 not-for-profit. And this past August, we celebrated our 11th year serving the community. And half of our mission is to go out into the community and promote STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And in that regard, we've partnered with schools, libraries, and we've had a presence at community events. We've built Mars rover challenges for schools, taught robotics classes to children, educated the community about 3D printers, arts and crafts, literacy, advanced manufacturing, workforce opportunities, and more. The Makerspace has facilities located downtown Binghamton, located between Benedum's and what used to be Lupo's SS Char Pit, and across the street from Serafini's. We've undergone major renovations over the past year to make accessibility accommodations, increase our capacities to deliver our growing programming, shore up structural issues, and to give our facilities some much needed curb appeal. We are excited about 2025 and what we expect to be able to deliver for the community. And that brings me to the other half of our mission, which is to provide to our membership every kind of tool and resource you can imagine to allow them to be creative, to create, to learn, develop skills, and the proficiency to use those resources, but also socialization. We have a metal shop with industrial equipment, a wood shop, a kiln, an electronics lab with 15 3D printers, laser cutter, soldering stations, computer access. We have an artisan area and a dedicated classroom. In short, we have quite a lot, perhaps more than your average vocational school. And it is easier to access what we are doing, perhaps, than a vocational school is. Our goal is to make what we have and what we know available to everyone and anyone in the community, especially distressed populations. As the kids might say, lowering the barriers to entry for these types of resources is our jam. And I put that in there because I'm getting old. And we built our own access control system. We have some pretty smart people. And once you enter your code, you enter it with a what I call a pound sign. But I saw our program director struggle for about 20 minutes trying to explain to one of our new members what the pound sign was, kind of like a tic-tac-toe thing. And then after it was established what that was, the kid said, why don't you just call it a hashtag? So it's a little bit, I'm getting old. While we've gathered what I consider to be a wide range of impressive tools and technology all in one location, the real value of what we do is our membership. We have members from all walks of life with diverse backgrounds, from artists to engineers, ranging in age from 5 to members well into their 80s. Professionals in their fields. One of our members is a retired electrical engineer, and among other places, he did work for NASA and has literally worked on things that have made their way into space. With all these resources and talent and wanting to do more for our community, the Makerspace started workforce development programming in advanced manufacturing, catering to distressed populations, including the unemployed, underemployed, marginalized communities, and veterans. The program is free, and after they complete the program, we try to assist them find gainful employment with local manufacturers desperate to fill those open positions. We also have an Art for All program that is proving to be very successful. Art is known to have a therapeutic and cathartic effects on mental health. And through our artistic resources and programming, we provide a healthy outlet for vulnerable populations, such as those suffering from the mental and emotional stresses. This program is open to all, but embraces special needs individuals, their families, and their care workers. As an organization, we understand that resources always seem to be limited, and that priority rightly goes to programs that address the most immediate needs of the vulnerable in our community, like housing and nutrition. But I believe we also offer something essential. The Makerspace, in a lot of ways, realizes the goal of a diverse melting pot. Members exchange their knowledge, they collaborate, they share their experiences, and they help one another. And as a result, the overall group benefits from that diversity. So good luck with your fundings, and I hope they go really well for us.
Right at the buzzer. All right, any questions for Stephen? Michelle?
So can you tell me how many memberships you had for 2024?
For 2024, on the good side of 50, but we have our Art for All programming is funded in part through the state. So we have members that are in the pipeline still who are not officially members, but they're transitioning their budget to become members. But officially, I'd say on the plus side of 50.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Hiya.
As I said before to the previous presenter, it helps us if we have your overall budget and then we can see where we fit into that thing. Is it possible that you could give Steve the rest of your budget so that we could see the whole thing? And the second question that I have is, can you give us any idea of the percentage of job placements that you had?
It's hard to do that because it's all volunteer. So, sometimes we get people who will continue to fill out our surveys or answer our emails and other times not, but I can get you the best that we got of that.
That might be a cool thing to start tracking, because if you can prove to that. And the third question I have is, as a member of the school board here in Binghamton, your program is awesome. Have you talked to anybody in the school district about doing anything in tandem with them?
I'm sorry, what was that about?
I'm on the school board,
Oh, okay.
and it sounds like your program is an exceptional program that kids could benefit, especially in the high school.
Right.
And I just wondered if there was ever any thought of approaching the school district about working in some way together.
Yes, we have done that in the past. We were more on track to do that prior to the pandemic. After the pandemic was launching our workforce programming, and then this entire last year was consumed with our renovations. It is something, the renovations was also in part to make it easier on us to maintain the space and just focus on what we actually do. So
I would
20
invite you to make that contact
Yep.
again with the superintendent, and let's see what we can do about that. So if you can give us the overall picture of your budget and where things go and start tracking that employment, I think this is a good thing for you.
we do, like I said, we do try and track it, but I couldn't, in a court of law, I couldn't swear to it because
Oh, we wouldn't expect that. No. Okay, but we appreciate any kind of idea you can give us.
oh yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
Absolutely.
Deborah?
Hi, how are you? Thank you for coming this evening. Could you give me, I have not been able to do a walkthrough that's available. Could you landmark me where you're building? I think it's above Benedum's, but I'm not positive.
So if you're driving down State Street, you go through the Art Walk, then you go under the bridge, and we're just on the wrong side of that bridge. And then you got Benedum's, you got their big parking lot, you got our building, and you got our parking lot. And then if you kept going, that's where the Speedy and Char Pit used to be. And we're directly across from Serafini's and their parking lot on the other side.
Deborah, it's across from the old Traction Garage. Literally right there on State Street, between State Street and the Hill. The old Already Printing or All Right Printing. The gray building, or I think it used to be gray anyway.
Oh, well, speaking of that, occasionally we get people who still think it's the Already Printing, and just for fun, because of all the technology we have, we sometimes print stuff for them.
No, thank you for the landmark. I know exactly where you are now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else for Stephen? Seeing none? Thank you, Stephen, for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right, up next is Vines. Someone's here for Amelia because she's not here. Come on down. You're the next in the hot seat. Stephen will help pass those out for you. So the microphone is directional. Just kind of keep close to it and give us your name and where. Is the green light on? Tap the button in the front and you should get a green light.
It's on now.
There you go.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for walking me through the microphone. My name is Chijuka Nelson. I am the youth program manager at Vines. I'm responsible for the Grow Binghamton program. Sorry. The Grow Binghamton program is a unique youth employment program for youth in the city of Binghamton, ages 14 through 21. Starting in 2020, we also had year-round employment, and that is 8 positions in the fall and the spring. During the summer, there are 28 positions available for the youth in Binghamton. That gives us a total of about 40 unduplicated positions offered annually. The Grow Binghamton program integrates youth development and employment while working towards equity and food justice in our community. Through this program, we want to provide youth with the opportunity to not only build critical life and job skills, but also make an impact in their community through creating food security. The youth are involved in food production and distribution at the Binghamton Urban Farm, which is located at 16 Tudor Street, which is right in the heart of downtown. The youth in the program do everything from seeding to packing food for our farm share program, which is a CSA that offers produce to the people in our community at a discounted rate. Youth participate in both short and long-term projects to improve the urban farm, which provides them with a way to give to their community and really build on their skills as they get hands-on experience with the farm tools. They have weekly workshops on financial literacy, and we've been able to create leadership opportunities with 4 advanced roles beyond the entry level. These leadership roles help youth to take on greater responsibilities and mentor peers while they develop their own leadership qualities. So how is this? Youth work in teams with a maximum 1-to-5 manager ratio for food production and community projects. It encourages collaboration and effective communication. With leadership roles like the crew leader and youth peer leader, they further emphasize supervising and working harmoniously in diverse groups. The participants in our program are able to analyze and adapt to challenges within their projects and exercise their creative thinking and critical thinking skills and executing weed management plans. We partner with community collaborators to offer workshops for our youth. C does our financial planning. We work with Cornell Cooperative Extension to do nutritional workshops and cooking workshops. We also do trips to other farms so that youth can study or they can learn about different agricultural practices that are used in our area. Yeah. Our program encourages youth to set and work towards their personal and professional goals and promote their self-motivation and direction.
Anything further?
Pardon?
Anything further?
No,
No. All right.
I'll stop there.
So do we have any questions for Vines?
I have a question. Can you differentiate between your agency budget, which is extremely healthy looking, and the program budget that you've given us? What exactly are the two and how do they work together?
We have an overall agency budget that manages the things in the agency that are not the Grow Binghamton program, but our Grow Binghamton program budget goes towards youth paychecks, the things that the youth require. I'm not sure if I'm answering that question correctly.
It might help if you could give us, again, I know I'm the only one asking for this, but a breakdown of everything that you have, because it gives us a better idea of how our money fits into what you're doing. Because there's a $400 and some odd $1,000 difference, it just would be nice to explain what Vines does as an agency versus your program is awesome, but what's the rest of it? That's my question.
Oh, Vines is an agency that works towards food security. So not aside from the Grow Binghamton program, we have our community gardens. I believe we have over 20 of them located around Binghamton where people can rent garden beds, and whatever they raise in their garden beds is theirs to keep. We also have our farm share program, which I spoke of briefly, where the youth work to pack shares with fresh local produce. That farm share program goes not only to Binghamton, but also Johnson City, Vestal, even in Windsor. And we also have the Binghamton Urban Farm. The Binghamton Urban Farm supplies food for the farm share program, but in addition to that, whatever produce we have that doesn't go into that gets donated to different organizations with within our community. We also focus on education with our Green Thumb programs, and those are free classes that are offered to the community on different gardening things. That we also had like a sourdough starter class just recently that we collaborated with the Cornell Cooperative Extension for. So there's a lot of education about food, education about growing food, and just providing people with a place where they can do that safely. We also have our Build a Garden program, where people are provided with a garden in home. And this is geared towards the community that is affected by low food access.
Mhm.
Low food access is where you're like over a mile from a grocery store. So the residents on the south side that have just lost that Weiss, they would be able to access this program and get a garden at home so that they would have the ability to meet their needs for fresh produce at home without having to go anywhere.
That's very insightful. And if you could put something together and give it out with this, that would be awesome. And I love the names that you give your groups. The Mushroom Mafia is probably my favorite one. Thank you.
They named themselves. They selected those names. Thank you.
Any other questions? John?
Hello.
Hello.
So I noticed on the application that there are a number of different funding sources. And at the time of the application that none of them were secured yet. Are there any updates on additional funding sources for the Grow Binghamton program?
Honestly, I cannot answer that question right now, but I can get the answer to you.
Good enough. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Anyone else? No? All right. Grow Binghamton at Vines. Thank you.
Thank you guys very, very much.
We weren't scary, were we?
Honesty?
Oh, yeah, scary? No need to be
I'll get
scared.
more comfortable as time goes on. You guys are really, really wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Today is National Hat Day, by the way. That's why I have my hat on, just to let you know. Did someone hear that boom that came just on this side over here? I feel like the building's gonna fall down on me or something. All right, next up, the YMCA of Broome County, Preston Evans, the Men's Emergency Housing Program. Come on down, Preston.
Good evening. My name is Preston Evans. I'm the Fund Development Director for the YMCA of Broome County, and I'm here to talk about our emergency temporary housing program for men and how the community development block grant funds can potentially help us. As a little bit of background, the YMCA of Broome County is a nonprofit, mission-driven organization that served the local community since 1865. We started as a railroad YMCA serving the men and women working the Erie and D&H train system as a housing facility. It's literally our foundation of it as an organization. Our current men's housing facility of 87 single-room occupancy units is located at 61 Susquehanna Street, so just around the corner from here. And it's the largest facility that serves men in Broome County. It supports the homeless, the recently paroled, low-level mental illness, and men that have graduated from recovery centers that are fighting alcohol and substance abuse in a safe, structured environment. Additionally, we also serve as a code blue and warming center for the months of October through April when the temperatures drop below 32 degrees, operating an additional 28 beds overnight during these periods in kind of a dormitory setting, so just kind of a big open space. 20 of those beds we actually just opened this past fall, so prior to that we only had 8 open, but we got Broome County's blessing to continue expanding that as we could because of the demand. All men that are staying in our housing program are required to meet with the case manager regularly for evaluation and to be connected to local supports and services that can assist them with everything from job skills development, legal aid, behavioral health, educational assistance, parenting classes, whatever it might be. But the whole ultimate goal is to get them in contact with services that can help them break the cycle of homelessness. The need for code blue and emergency homeless housing in the city of Binghamton and Broome County in general is extremely high. As I said, we have 87 units in our our housing facility, and that operates at 99% capacity all of the time. Just in that unit alone, we provide over 31,400 nights of safe structured sleep for men in the community. The same holds true for when the temperatures drop below zero and those 28 beds for Code Blue and the warming center are activated as well. We also point to the 99%, not just as an occupancy number. It actually also speaks to our effectiveness as a housing organization. Men actively go out of their way to come and stay at the YMCA. They know that it's structured, they know that it's safe, they know that they will have the supports in place to help them kind of try and break that cycle of homelessness. And if they can't, then they can transition to transitional housing or permanent housing. We have men that have been there for everything from just a night to have been there for years. And it's what works for them. We customize it to their services. The other thing that's worth mentioning is just that we use this as kind of our emergency housing can serve as a stepping stone for these men. So they can go from, being in this for what they might think is just 30 days and graduate to our transitional housing. We have plans in the future to expand our permanent housing at that site from those 87 units to an additional 75 to 85 units. So this emergency housing will serve as an opportunity for more men to graduate into that permanent housing program. Additionally, the Broome County Department of Social Services, according to them, they pay for about 100 hotel rooms per night across the county. This comes at an extreme cost to the taxpayer, and it doesn't connect any of these people who are staying in these hotel rooms with any of the services or the supports that they can need to help break that cycle. It's just they're being housed for the night. They're getting them off the street. So again, coming to the YMCA, you have the opportunity to meet with the case manager to really kind of see how we can evaluate and get you, the help that you need to be rehoused successfully. So the funding request that we've requested is to support the supplies costs to operate our Code Blue emergency housing program for one season of an estimated 126 estimated nights of housing for the 28 men who will utilize these services for one night. This includes everything from 900 personal hygiene kits, bedding sets, mattress protectors, towels, storage units for each bed, 600 pairs of shower shoes, food and cleaning supplies, just everything to really kind of help this program be operational. At the time of writing this, we were at 28. We've actually been evaluating our emergency temporary housing, and we can potentially expand that in the next 12 to 18 months up to 65 beds. So the supplies that would come for this would go a long way towards helping us to really expand that and get that program to really be robust. And again, the supplies, it's not just allow us to operate, but it's also to provide a quality experience for these men to help them, whether it's for one night, 30 nights, or if they're looking for longer term placement in our programming. But again, it treats them with a night of dignity, respect, and again, just for one night. So in order to break the cycle of homelessness, the high quality program will occur. These men will receive access to these comprehensive supports and services in addition to getting off the street for one night in a warm environment. And it can just really help improve their lives should they voluntarily opt to stay. As we expand, in the future, they can stay longer. They can potentially graduate to permanent housing. And so I just said thank you for your consideration. And if anybody has any questions.
Steven has a question.
This is more of logistics. The YMCA is a member of the Continuum of Care, correct?
Yes.
Are you active in the coordinated entry system?
Yes, we have our housing director is on at least one or two committees for
Okay.
the Continuum.
It sounds like this program would have also qualified under ESG, and I was just curious why you chose CDBG over ESG.
We went for ESG for capital for our roof because that's been kind of a high need because that hasn't been replaced in 55 years. So we broke that out to CDBG for this and the roof for the capital.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for Preston? Deborah?
Just a quick thing. One thing I noticed was unique about this presentation in your budget is that you're not charging for any staff or personnel. It's just for the supplies. How are those other costs covered? Are those other grants? And you're just, again, going for supplies?
Yes, we're going for supplies. We actually got some funding through the United Way to support the staffing costs. We have to abide by a 1 to 50 person ratio of staff to residents. So we were able to, we had to move some money around for a grant that we had previously gotten to them, but we were able to reallocate it for staffing costs for this program.
Anyone else?
I have a silly question. 900 personal hygiene kits, but only 600 pairs of shower shoes. Do 300 people go without shower shoes?
The thinking there is that the personal hygiene kits might go where somebody might use one, whereas like somebody might stay with us for a month and be able to use the same pair of shower shoes repeatedly.
Thank you.
Yep.
I really appreciate that.
No
It
problem.
shows that you are very frugal. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none. Thank you, Preston.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
You too. Up next, American Legion Post 80, Sandra Diffin. Sandra, come on up. Now, remember the microphone is directional, so get right up on it and speak loud.
Yes, I think. Is that good?
That's good.
Okay.
We're ready whenever you are.
Okay. Good evening, City Council members. My name is Sandy Diffin. I am an Army veteran with 30 years of service. I retired at the rank of First Sergeant. I am currently the adjutant for Post 80. I am a past American Legion County Commander and District Vice Commander. I have been a member of Post 80 for 28 years and adjutant for the past 10 years. The Binghamton American Legion Post 80 was chartered on June 28, 1919, and was the first post established in Broome County. We are a nonprofit charitable organization listed on the New York State Historic Preservation Registry, and we are listed on Binghamton's Main Street Historic District project that has been ongoing since 2018. The building was constructed in the 1870s and owned by the Layton family, who owned and operated the first cigar and furniture store in Binghamton, New York. Our mission is to serve and focus on veterans and current service members who served America during peace and war. Sponsor programs that our parent organization, the National American Legion, does to improve veterans' communities, such as scholarships, veteran help programs, such as veterans homelessness, and youth sports. The American Legion promotes security, patriotism, and devotion to veterans. We are the nation's largest wartime veterans service organization in the world. Post 80 is requesting $300,000 for a total roof replacement. The roof consists of 11 separate areas, both rubber and shingle. See photos in packet. The continued acceleration of deterioration has caused major roof and structural damage over the years. The age of the roof, broken and missing shingles, clogged gutters, cracked flashing, holes and punctures continue to cause water leakage, water penetration, and water backup. The roof leakage and decay has caused damage to our ceilings, walls, foundations, and organizational systems. The Binghamton American Legion Post 80 helps all veterans obtain full medical, career, and educational benefits, as well as assistance in preparing VA claim applications. Post 80 plays a dynamic role in the lives of veterans and the community. Some of the programs we provide to the community include a polling place to vote, food bank, blood drive, Humane Society rummage sales, BU fashion shows, BU ballroom dancing, conventions, cancer benefits, meeting places for unions, National mail carriers, Southern Tier Dart League, Shuffleboard Leagues, Cornhole Leagues, Lifeline Medical Screenings, Auxiliary Dinners, Legion Breakfasts and Barbecues, Bugle and Drum Corps Practice, Coin and Card Shows. Some of our biggest community events is the Bandera Free Christmas Dinner, which is sponsored by Post 80. Last year, we served over 4,000 meals. We are scheduled this year to start preparation on December 9th, which we did. And we served a little over 3,500 meals this year. Another big community event is our newly renovated bowling alley. We have 6 lanes and support several bowling leagues to include the blind bowlers. Please consider our application for funding in order for the Binghamton American Legion Post 80 to continue its mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for her?
I know it's a lot of money, but does everybody know?
Well, it's a big roof.
Yes.
My question is, have you approached any other funders or any other options for funding for the roof?
Yes, I have. Let's see. In 2018, I met with Mayor David. Okay, Mayor David and his associates promised us funding. And I sent him a letter prioritizing what we needed done. And when COVID hit, he told me there was no funding left. I have approached Mayor Cram. He stated he had no more funding. Okay, so I have talked to the Community Foundation. It's quite a large sum of money. So I have talked with them. I have talked to Leah Webb's office. And I have applied with her office. And she is, I'm waiting for her to get back to me.
Thank you. Deb has a question.
Deborah.
Hi, this is more a testament to what you folks are facing. My Frederick is a proud Marine, and the Marine Corps League used to be members or met there. And because their area was getting consistently rained upon and damaging artifacts, they left. And that was a sad day for Marines. And we're at Post 80 and it's not the same. So we were very welcomed at Post 80. It is creating issues and much needed. Thank you.
I mean, we are on the historical registry and we are part of Binghamton's, what did they call it? Main Street Historic District, which there's really not a whole lot of information that comes out on that. I do have a letter from the City of Binghamton that says we have been, approved from the City of Binghamton. If you want to see it, I do have that. I have approached the historic registry people, and we are a 501c3 19. Now, the 19, all that does is specify that we are a veterans organization. That's the only difference. So the Historic Preservation Organization says that we must be a 501c3. So therefore, they cannot help us. So we've been dealing with, the roof. We've paid the roofing contractor thousands and thousands of dollars to fix leaks, which we are still doing.
So I have a question. Do
Yeah.
you, who else's source of funding for your organization? Do you get any help from the national level or state?
No, ma'am, when I did call them for help, they tell me the same thing, that they don't have money. Now, we have, fundraisers and our membership. Okay, the Legion membership is $45 a year per person. We have the Sons of the American Legion, and they are like sons of veterans, and that is $20. And we have the auxiliary, which is spouses, etc., and that is $25. Okay, the auxiliary, they put on dinners once, twice a month. We get $1 a plate for non-veterans.
I have another
You're welcome.
question. Because you're on the historic register, did that raise the cost of the roofing? Did that make it more expensive? Because usually that's what happens with historical places.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Because you're on the historical register,
Yes.
when you got an estimate for the roof, was it more expensive because you had to meet special criteria because you are a historic place?
No, we haven't gone that far.
Okay.
So basically what I did, I just got a basic estimate, because if the shingles, because it's historical, we can't find them, then they're gonna do it differently. So I didn't do that. We didn't do that yet.
Most historical requirements are going to require you to replace in-kind with like materials and like colors.
Yes, I do understand that. But the roof on the American Legion was put on, I think, in the 1970s. And I just can't seem to get any money or any help to get a new roof. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why.
How many estimates did you receive? This is the lowest of how many estimates?
I just provided the one estimate,
Okay.
but I could get more. The reason I provided that estimate is that is the individual that's been doing the work.
And I do want to say, I do appreciate the pictures, everything like that. It is clear that you need a new roof.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of the most thorough
yeah.
pictorial views we've ever seen.
It's
in my years on the-
we have a pie, and that's a significant
Amount.
of our pie.
Yes.
It would require us to ignore a large number of other groups.
I understand that. Possibly something, maybe not the full amount. Anything, so maybe we can get the shingle roof done, or, a partial part of the roof that is really in bad shape. We would accept anything at this point. So.
Would you be able to give us an estimate of that really bad part of the roof and how much that might cost?
Yes.
Because that might make a difference in our deliberations.
Okay.
And also, I want to say before I forget, thank you for your service.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. Please consider our request. Thank you.
Can get that to Steve. He can send it to the rest of us, and that'll be part of our deliberations, the worst part of the roof and what that might cost. And I guess if you could give us a couple of estimates, that would also help.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, Deborah.
Just a suggestion. You said you had reached out to Senator Leah Webb's office. If you are pledged an amount, could you also get back to us? Because then that shows there might be a matching amount that might assist us with our portion. So that might be very, very helpful.
And
Yes, Leah did say something about a matching, but I mean, we can't come up with the basic to have a matching. I think it was
Right.
100,000 or something.
And I do apologize because matching is one of those buzzwords in the community. But
Right.
what I was trying to say is if there's another funding source coming there with ours, would that make
Oh,
a
okay,
difference?
right, right. And she was talking 100,000
There we go.
is what she was talking, Leah Webb.
and reach out to Donna Lepardo so
I-
that both the Assembly and Senate are working on your behalf.
Yes, I have talked to Donna. I know Donna personally. But I will continue to reach out.
Very good.
Anything else?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right. The Broome County Council of Churches, Susan Spencer with the Ramp It Up Youth Initiative.
Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
don't know if you can hear me. Okay. Thank you for having me this evening. My name is Sue Spencer. I am the program director for Faith in Action Volunteers, which is one of the programs at the Broome County Council of Churches, excuse me. And we work with seniors in the community, and we also manage the Ramp It Up Youth Initiative. The Ramp It Up Youth Initiative was created. It began with the council in 2009. Its basis was from the 2006 flooding, and it was learned at that time that there were many people that did not have easy and safe access in and out of their homes. Based on that and the fact that we found that a lot of the youth in the community were very interested in helping, we formed the Ramp It Up Youth Initiative. Utilizing youth groups, school groups, scouts, and et cetera, we offer solutions for those at risk for their loss of independence, and they face isolation because they are unable to leave their homes, mainly because of mobility issues. We have worked on this since, like I said, since 2009. We have a program coordinator and a site supervisor who work together to bring on the youth teams, set up the schedule, do the assessments of the homes, do site visits, and work with 2 retired engineers. They're retired from GE, so I don't know how long that was ago, but they're very active in helping design the ramps. And we build all our ramps to ADA standards. These are not permanent ramps. They are, I just lost my word. They are temporary ramps because the majority of our people who we build ramps for are seniors. And there eventually comes a time when they will need to be removed. But we also build for all ages. We're not exclusive to just seniors, but those are the majority of them. We design the ramps using a program that the engineers use, and we do a field site visit just to check and make sure that it's feasible to build it. Sometimes there's trees in the way or things that would hinder building the ramp to the ADA standards. We have them fill out the application. We rate them on a priority scale based on need. In the past, I think they used to do first come, first serve, but now they look at who needs it more than someone else. And then They will make out the plans, get the building permit, and then find the build team to build it. So basically, I would say the average cost of a ramp is about $1,500, but that depends on the size and it can range anywhere up into 2,000. But then some ramps are smaller and they may only be $700 or $800. It all depends on that. So it's very hard to set a set price on how much a ramp is. It just depends on where it's built. But we calculate how much the recipient will need to pay based on annual income and the federal poverty index. And then we have a set rate that we look at. And the majority of the ramps that we do build are at no cost for the recipient because basically that is how we work it. Our mission is to provide safety to those with mobility issues and increase their independence and lessen isolation, to give youth of our community the opportunity to volunteer. And our hope is that Ramp It Up will encourage our youth to continue to volunteer in the future and change lives. We get multiple stories of how much these ramps have made life so much easier for them and their families. It's provided with them easy access to get out into the community, get to their doctor's appointments, et cetera. So I thank you for your time and your consideration of our request.
Very good. Do we have any questions for Susan?
I must
Very
say
good.
that your presentation was very insightful and your budget is amazing. The things that you provided for us, stellar. I just want to congratulate you
Thank
for
you.
that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, you got off easy, Susan. A compliment and nothing else.
I did give everybody a brochure.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No need to be nervous next time. You nailed it.
Oh, I can't believe I got that nervous.
Very good. Thank you. Could be. All right, coming up next, the First Ward Action Council. Jerry Willard, Senior Home Repair. And it's not Jerry. That's okay. Just introduce yourself and present away.
My name's Hannah Allen. I'm the office manager at the First Ward Action Council. I also am in charge of all our grant programs. I'm here today to present about the Senior Home Repair Program. The Senior Home Repair Program was started in the early 1990s. What was started as just the First Ward area quickly became all of City of Binghamton. With the philosophy that sometimes small things can make a big difference. The First Ward Action Council employs skilled staff to help improve the homes of seniors that are necessary to keep the homeowners in their home versus having to go to like a nursing home or go to a family member's home. Home modifications and repairs that can help seniors live more comfortably in their homes and making the senior home safer and more accessibility, reduce fall risks, prevents accidents, and increases independence. These repairs are ones that contractors just don't have time to do. They're small home repairs, like a leaky faucet, hand railing, grab bars. The program is for anybody that is 55 and older. They have to be income eligible, which is the 80% median income of the area, and then own a single family dwelling. The projects typically include rebuilding deteriorating or dangerous stairs, installing hand railings, replacing or adding locks, along with countless other repairs. The clients do pay for the material. First Ward does provide the labor for free. For more specialized repairs, we do hire outside contractors depending on the nature and size of the repair. We can also refer the clients to some of our other grants that we have that are in-house depending on what type of repair. In those cases, the full amount of the repairs are charged to the grant. Since the start of the first award, projects have provided hundreds of repairs within the city of Binghamton. Some of the repairs that we've done lately is we had a wheelchair-bound person who wasn't able to get out of their house for at least 3 months. We were able to provide a walk or a ramp for that person to get out. The day that we did it, she literally cried because she couldn't afford it. We did put it through the grant program, so they were able to be completely free. They didn't have to actually pay for the material and that part of it. But so the smaller repairs that are only like less than 4,500, they don't pay anything. There's no lien, no nothing like that. They don't have to pay for anything. If it's just like a leaky faucet, they pay for the material of the leaky faucet. But in that case, this lady could not afford anything. She cried. She literally makes $900 a month. The ramp came to 4,500. You do the math, I can tell you sometimes it's not plausible. Another one that's a good example was she had to call a heating company because she couldn't get her thermostat to work. She had no heat. They charged her $220 to change batteries. Our program would have just paid for the labor, and she would have just paid for batteries. So this is a prime example of why we need money towards this program and keep it going. These are seniors who kind of, I'm not necessarily saying anything bad, but go with whatever somebody tells them versus actually looking into other ways. So they're going to get the first person that comes, and maybe that person sees that they're vulnerable and will charge them $500 for something that could be like a $25 fix. And they have no way of knowing any differently. This program comes into use of being able to help them save money and give them the liability of us doing the work. Our current person was a general contractor, so he knows what he's doing. He knows, the game. He knows what he's doing. Where I feel like sometimes Joe Smo is just looking to get some money.
Are you done?
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks. Can you tell us how you get the word out?
So Jerry actually has done a commercial within the past 6 months. We do a lot. It is a lot of word of mouth. We've done social media. I know I've outreached on, I think it's called neighborhood post, for our Facebook. We have a website, but a lot of it is word of mouth. I've been on the radio a couple times, and then we have flyers.
Thank you.
Deborah?
Would like to add to that marketing is the Around the Tiers reaches a lot of people in the afternoon. And I am regarding the Broome County Senior News. I think you've had it in the past, but that's a wonderful resource as well. And I think you have pamphlets at the First Ward Senior Center.
Yeah, I do a couple couple times a year. I'll go down to the senior center and do presentations down there.
Thank you.
Hi, did Jerry pass the email I sent to him regarding the change in the environmental review process?
Yeah.
So after everything we dealt with HUD over the last few years of this project, as long as we can qualify the repair as maintenance, and HUD does have very clear definitions of that, and send it right back to you as approved. Obviously, you still have bigger projects you're not thinking of would be the ones where you install railway railings for stairs that were these kinds of situations. Yeah, it would be a little bit longer, but I'm glad he passed it on, so that should speed things up.
Anything further? No. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Phelps Mansion. Jennifer? Oh, she's dropping off her own flyers for you.
Oh, sorry. I need one myself.
She didn't keep one for herself. House. I remember when they put that ornate roof back on the top of it. It was so nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Before that, when it was just a flat, it was like, it's cute, but that
Terrific. Hi, I'm Jennifer Corby. I'm the executive director of the Phelps Mansion Museum. I'm not real good with microphones. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, okay. I started in this position in August of 2022. There was not previously a full-time executive director except for 1 year between 2016 and 2017. The mission of the Phelps Mansion Museum is to utilize and preserve its unique Victorian facility and collections to serve the public through regular tours, exhibits, and programs, emphasizing local history, education, literature, art, and music. The Phelps Mansion Museum was established as a nonprofit 501c3 and established under the New York State Board of Regents as a museum in 2005. The house was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1973 while still owned by the Monday Afternoon Club, which was a private ladies' club. The Phelps Mansion Museum has been #1 on TripAdvisor for almost 10 years as the #1 attraction in Binghamton, New York. Our guided tours are a draw from people from out of town. This drives tourism for Binghamton and brings in money for other local businesses. Many people ask for restaurant recommendations after visiting the mansion, and they ask about the other attractions in the area, including Roberson, the Kilmer Mansion, the Bundy Museum, and the baseball stadium. We're excited about the city's investment in the stadium district, and keeping the Phelps in good repair allows us to be a beacon in this area. The Phelps Mansion Museum is now profitable with operations. This is due to, I brought in over $100,000 over the last 2 years in grants, including ones from the Decker Foundation, the Klee Foundation, the Me Foundation, Tioga Downs, and New York State Council on the Arts, which I'm super proud of, which was for supporting my salary. We've expanded our programming to reach a more diverse audience. We have exciting collaborations, including with the Binghamton Philharmonic, that has a Garufi Law Phelps Mansion Museum Chamber Concert Series. We also have a really exciting collaboration with the Harriet Tubman Center for Freedom and Equity at Binghamton University. They researched a free Black veteran, Andrew Jackson, who lived and worked at the Phelps Mansion in the late 1800s, and the mansion is now #9 on the Freedom Trail in downtown Binghamton. The architectural study that was conducted by Chianis and Anderson in 2018 found that the roof needed repair. We cannot delay this repair any longer. I do have an update on my original application, which was that we are not pursuing a loan at this time, and I am not applying for capital funding through the New York State Council on the Arts. The reason for that is because I would have to use that money after July. We can't wait. We started an annual appeal in December to raise money for the roof and have gotten a robust response so far. We respectfully ask for $57,866 to repair the roof. Thank you so much for your time.
Sorry, I was finishing my notes. Do you have any questions? John?
Hello.
Hi, John.
So if I heard you correctly, I hear that this is a priority. You need something to happen before July.
We do.
Is that right?
Yes.
Steve, is that our
Oh,
time?
do we not qualify if is that the same for you
This,
guys?
this grant period would start in September of next year, or sorry, September of this year. Sorry.
Oh,
That would be for the earliest disbursement of funds, is that?
Yeah, well, that would be assuming we got environmental reviews done and agreements passed through city council. That would be the earliest date, and that's all assuming that HUD would actually get our money to the credit line by then. Sometimes it's not until October or later.
oh. Oh, wow. Okay. Um, I mean, there's a chance we, won't do it for whatever reasons if we just haven't raised the money yet. Oh, crap. Okay. Yeah, it needs to be done in the spring.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly understand that. I can hear. I
Would
just
it-
wanted to be, us to be transparent with you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that. That's why I didn't, the NISCA grant was due today and I had office meetings with them and I chose not to continue that application because they said the money had to be used by June or July. Is it possible to be considered if there's I mean, I guess I can go back to the board and say, could we hold off? The roof is not, it's not falling in. It just desperately needs to be, don't sound as bad as the poor, for that roof that is falling in, I'm afraid. We're not being rained on. If it's a matter of us actually being considered and getting some funding for this, I think we would definitely rather be considered and push off the funding. I mean, push off the roof repair. So would it be possible to be considered for this, knowing that
Okay.
we would wait?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's worth it to try, keep it on.
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather, get some money or get all the money and hold, yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
no problem. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
That went
Does
right,
it-
I wrote it down and it went right over my head.
Does that like put sort of marks on my application if it's, okay. We will wait. I'd much rather get the money. Or a portion. Thank you.
I appreciate it, and I would just rather we be transparent with you. That,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
not
and
the
also I
timeline.
feel like with New York State, my chances of getting a back-to-back because I just got that capital, or the operations. And I feel like, applying for you guys locally who know and see this mansion, I had a better shot at that versus New York State, even though I was successful. So, yes, please, we'll wait. Thank you.
And we'll pray for dry.
What?
We'll pray for a dry spring.
It's not where I feel bad. We're not that bad, but we don't have holes in the roof, or we do, but not visible ones. So anyway, thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you.
I turn this off.
Want me to ask them? I'm in charge. Okay. All right, as your chair, the question has been, it's 8:20. The question has been, do we want to push off officers voting till the next meeting? Or do we want to just steam forward and get it done now? Deborah's saying steam forward and get it done now. 5 minutes. Anybody object?
Say that again? What you want to,
Do we want
Go
to
ahead.
take 5 or 10 minutes and do our officers now, or do we want to push it off to the next
well,
meeting?
do you want to do it when there's more members here? You want to wait a week or till the next time? Does that matter?
It doesn't matter to me one bit. I'm the acting chair until another election happens, so it doesn't matter to me. maybe. How many people are still outstanding on their appointments? You got here?
They're getting really good at not sending me the digital copies of these so I can put them in the file so I know when you guys have been reappointed. Meeting next week. The next meeting is next week.
Next week?
Yeah. So we would fit it in.
It's gonna be -1 next Wednesday, by the way.
By the way, I don't even know what we're gonna do for that because I don't think I've got it. I think this meeting was supposed to be just the organizational meeting. I don't think we were planning on doing anything else. So next week was supposed to be something else.
What else is it supposed to be?
Well, I didn't realize it was coming up this closely because we still got to invite chairs or sorry, departments and non-applicant state. Actually, did we already invite the non-applicant stakeholders earlier? Did we that earlier this
We
like last
talked
year?
about it, but I don't remember if we actually
Did
sent
they
the
come
invite.
in? We had the data meeting.
I don't remember.
But we have the departments and we can start on that. I mean, certainly my department can do stuff and Julia's department can do stuff. Before you guys make a decision, I want to raise a point here because a bunch have come up this year. We have at least 2 historical projects with a large dollar sums. Looking at just a crude calculation, the way caps work, they will sneak up on you if you don't realize it. There's a cap on the amount of non-low mod projects you can do. Generally, non-low mod projects will be things like demolitions, historical projects, and then miscellaneous things like if we were paying back the Section 3 loan, which we're not doing anymore. The overall crude number to that is about 500,000. So between demolitions and any historical only projects, you can only budget up to roughly 500,000. I won't know until I get the final amount and double check everything, but just be aware that it's difficult to fully fund all historical projects. Now, I can talk to those agencies and I have talked to some of them. If we can wiggle it around so that we can say they're a low mod service providing agency, we can. That's not always easy. But that is a possibility of kind of getting around that cap, but just so you're aware of that. So that's just something else to take into account. That there's a maximum amount of projects, money you can put on projects that don't go directly to low income families.
So I guess consensus is wait, vote or wait. It's only next week. Wait. She said go forward. I just want a consensus here. Wait or go.
I may not be here either.
Okay, we're voting. Because if we don't have quorum, then we can't vote next week.
Yeah.
We have quorum right now.
This may be a, we have had attendance problems.
We've had serious attendance problems.
I really think that needs to be addressed as well as the ethics issues.
Yeah.
That's a real big one for me.
All right. So election of new officers. We have 3 positions up for grabs: chair, vice chair, and secretary.
The chair can only be held by a person who's been doing CDAC for at least a year. That's the only one that has a restriction.
That knocks me out. No.
I think actually everyone qualifies. I don't think anyone's.
I don't think anyone's been here less than a year.
Yeah.
At this point.
All right, I'll throw something out here. How about if we keep Justin as chairman and Mary Ann as vice chair, but Ebony doesn't come a lot. She's secretary, so I think secretary needs to be changed.
The motion.
I mean,
It would be a nomination at this
Yeah,
point.
so I would nominate John.
Thank you. I'll accept the nomination. Thank you.
All right, so we have a nomination for secretary of John. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, do we want to vote on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Unanimous.
Okay, unanimous on John for secretary. Oops, oh, you? One abstained. All right, for vice chair, do we have a nomination?
We'll nominate Mary Ann Callahan.
Second.
hold on.
All in favor of Mary Ann as vice chair? Aye. Everyone,
Is there any abstentions?
did you abstain from that? Yeah. She abstained.
Okay.
All right, now do we take a nomination for chair?
Yes, I'll nominate you, Justin, for chair.
I will accept the nomination if it's seconded.
Second.
Who was it?
Jordan. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All but me abstained.
Gotcha.
There we go. So our new
Normally it's
officer,
chair down, just FYI, but we
what?
got it done. Do your chair down.
We could have
but
just
we got
done
it done.
one, but because we were changing one, I didn't feel confident with a slate. All right, so our election of new officers for the next well, it's still the same fiscal year. For 2025, whatever. Chair, myself, Justin McGregor, Vice Chair, Mary Ann Callahan, and our secretary. Who did we put as secretary? John. I forgot. I'm tired. I apologize, John. Congratulations to all. Final attendance right now. Let's start up there with Deborah.
Deborah Hogan, mayoral appointee.
John Brunza, mayoral appointee.
Mary Ann Callahan, mayoral appointee.
Fellow Lachlan member at large.
Marilyn Austin, 6th District.
Jordan Trice, 5th District.
And Justin McGregor, 7th District and Chair. Thank you. Now do I take a motion to adjourn? Deborah's motion,
Second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.